I'm going to make a Moroccan dish. It's called beef Tajine. This is spelled T-A-J-I-N-E. Then there's Tagine with a T-A-G also. So there must be a couple of different ways, just like here in the United States, that you name something and it's cooked. You see many different recipes. So this is just one of the recipes of this Moroccan dish, beef Tagine. And I'm going to serve it with green beans and toasted almonds. What you see before you are all the ingredients except the meat. And you buy stew meat, like so. It's cut up. Probably cut up already if you buy it like that. What you have to do is peel the tomatoes. If you don't know how to peel the tomatoes, I have a recipe how to peel tomatoes. And we have fresh parsley, sea salt, tomato paste, a lot of onions, ground ginger, cayenne pepper, tumeric, cinnamon stick, and cumin. And this ground ginger, I keep like a quart of this in the freezer. Every time I need it, I just take a little out. Very simple. Just grind it up with either sesame oil or olive oil. So we're going to get started. First I'm cooking this in a crock pot. You don't have to. There's a few different ways of doing it, but to me it's very simple that way. So let me get started. We'll put a skillet on the stove with some olive oil. Now I'm putting my crock pot directly, since I'm able to do it with this type. And I'm going to brown the meat in there, a little bit at a time, and then the onions. Well, whatever your method for browning the meat, make sure it's hot and don't load it up so it starts to steam it. So I won't be putting all of this in there. Just enough to just about cover the bottom. And the reason being, as you add items, it loses temperature. And as soon as the meat is brown, I'll take it out, put the rest of the meat, and then I'll come with the onions and do the same thing. Then I'll put everything together, and you will put it in a nice thick bottom pot when you're done, with a tight lid, so you can simmer it on top of the stove. It'll take a couple of hours. This way in the crock pot it'll take a little longer, but I like this. As you see, the meat is brown. And try to use a pan where the meat's not going to stick on you. This makes it difficult. This is coated with, this is an all-clad item. And it does a great job. You know, it's all in the equipment sometimes. If you have a pan that you saute in and everything starts to stick on you, you just have to go and wash it again and redo it over and over. As you see also, this meat has some nice fat in it. And it's not that lean, so after it's cooked, it won't be dry in your mouth. This is what they call a flat iron steak. But for me, a flat iron steak isn't good enough for a steak. It's a little bit chewy. It's better for this. So this is browning nicely, and you hear the sizzling. If you don't hear the sizzling, either your flame is not high enough, or you didn't put enough, or you put too much meat in the pan, and it just cooled it down and started to boil the meat instead of saute, so you can get nice color like this. So now the meat's ready, and we're going to put the onions. So now we'll brown the onions. While the onions are browning, I didn't dice up the tomatoes yet, so I'm going to dice up the tomatoes, the peeled tomatoes. Okay, the onions, they only took about 5-6 minutes because this was very hot from the beef. So the onions are brown. Now we're going to put everything in here and then put it into the crock pot. All the ingredients. The diced tomatoes that were peeled, and if you're too lazy to peel them, so don't peel them, don't worry about it. It's just, things will be better. And now I'll get the rest of the ingredients together. Everything goes in now. The parsley, the ground ginger, turmeric, cayenne pepper, cumin, and then last but not least, the tomato paste. And now we're going to mix it up. And the water's in there already. Forgot one item. The sea salt. So if you're going to cook this on top of the stove, like I said, put it in a tight lid, thick bottom pot, very thick, low flame, so it just simmers until the meat is tender. Could take you an hour and a half or so. This will take longer. So I'm going to place it in there, and I have it set for 3.5 hours. Now, even though I set it for 3.5 hours, in 2.5 hours I'm going to check it, because I could be off. You always check food. Don't trust anybody what they tell you. Just check it every once in a while, no matter what the recipe says. Not every recipe works. Now you can also put this into one of those casserole dishes, those pottery type pots with a tight lid, and cook it in the oven also. Well, as I guessed, 3.5 hours later, this is done. That looks nice. Put some on a plate. And I'm going to be serving this with maybe potatoes, rice, and those sesame green beans. I hope you enjoy this.